Hey folks, we are 15 minutes away from the episode 3 of the Secrets of the Sire radio broadcast, which is also then turned into a podcast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we basically just enjoy ourselves and get ourselves set up. So anybody who's ever done radio before, you can appreciate the microphone in the way here. I'm going to actually move this to my right side. Is this better over here? Mm-hmm. All right. See, so anybody hooking up online, you can see us on Twitter, at Michael Dolce. So we are setting up, we're broadcasting live across internet radio at 11 o'clock. And again, I'm just positioning this. Maybe I should position it on this side. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. So, talking to Sam, the engineer. So, hello to the one person who's, the two people who signed on. Again, 15 minutes. We got a great show today. It's going to be, we've got Mike Marts, who was an editor at Marvel and DC and has now branched off into doing his own thing. I posed the question on my blog at secretsofthesire.com or the Facebook page of the same name, secretsofthesire.com, and basically asked the question, would you rather work for the big two, or would you rather strike out and be successful on your own indie project? And we got some great poll results. We got some great mixed comments, so I'm going to check that out. And so we welcome everybody who's joined on Saints Girl 878. I'm going to do my best to try to collect some questions as well while our guest is on, and even while I'm on. And so please, feed me your questions. They can be comic book related, comic book movie related, music, TV. We touch everything. So sit back and enjoy. We go live in 15 minutes. I have to change I'm going to change that banner image. Chris Cornell's too prominent, I think.
Yeah, no, because when I search for it, that's what comes up, and I'm like, this is, it looks like it's just about that one individual show.
Exactly. Oh, well, that's...
Oh, it's an event.
That was an event, so I don't... Oh, so the event comes up. That's interesting.
Right, but where's the Secrets of the Sire?
Go to Facebook, just type in Secrets of the Sire. And then you should be able to get it. So, again, sit tight, 11 a.m. Eastern, we're going to go live, talkingalternative.com. You guys can stream on via Periscope. Trying something new. We're giving you a little inside info into our setup. So we are basically just getting ourselves ready. Again, my Twitter feed is at Michael, MICHAEL_Dolce. I will be pinning this. Oh, my poll I have to fix. Nice. That's good. I'm going to be getting my poll ready as well. And yes, our highest poll numbers.
Yeah.
We have 7. That's our highest that we've done. But we also posed that question on Facebook. But Mike Marts, who will be joining us in the second and third segments, really terrific. Now, one thing I realized is I posted to my Facebook page, and instead of doing that, I should post onto the Secrets of the Sire, not the question. The question I should post the question onto Secrets of the Sire page, and then tag people into that question on the Secrets of the Sire page. That was the one thing. So we're learning as we go, and it's a fun and exciting thing. So we really do appreciate you guys, checking in. Cool, we got a lot of feedback on this.
Yeah, good.
Oh yeah, we got a ton of feedback on this, which is great.
Excellent.
So we thank the Periscope viewers who are sticking with us. Again, we're 10 minutes away from going live. Comment all you like. Ask some questions now. That's exactly. If I had this on the Secrets of Sire page, it would be a lot better. So Well, it is what it is. You know, we're definitely going. You pay no attention. I have been. I am so sorry. Also getting ready for the show. Go ahead. What would you like to know? See, it comes in flashes, and then I miss it, so I do apologize to the... First, I asked about Deadpool. Okay, what was the question? Good or bad? I think Deadpool, I hope it does well. I don't know if it's going to do well. Main topic of the show is going to be... Well, it's going to be a couple things. The first main topic that we're going to touch on is... would you rather... Well, I mean, you're going to see the movie, so you're going to see it one way or the other, and it got made, so that's a good thing. I actually argued that it will not do as well. I think that it'll end up doing well its opening weekend and then slowly taper off, and that's kind of the question. I think it's so indie that I don't think it's going to do as good. But we'll see. We'll find out what happens. As for the main topic today, would you rather make your money at Marvel or DC? Or would you rather be an independent success that is moderately successful? Savage Dragon, Cerebus, things like that. Also going to be talking about working within the comic book industry itself. I myself have been working in the industry directly or indirectly for over 15 years now. And so we'll be doing that as well. So T-minus 9 minutes.
Okay.
March 24th, we're going to be doing a huge, colossal Batman vs. Superman podcast. And we're going to be doing a super colossal shot on that. I'm going to hopefully bring in my good friend, who's... Oh, yeah, feel free to talk. It's we're live streaming.
Tony, this is Mike. Mike, this is Tony Martinetti.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, Tony, good to meet you.
How many listeners we got?
We got 5 right now on
Getting
on
hearts?
Periscope, so yes.
Hey, I'm another host. Not that I'm going to pimp out my show on his Periscope.
You may. It's okay.
No,
We're not actually...
No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Welcome to New York. It's a little snowy. Cool. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, not a problem. When is your show, actually?
1 o'clock.
Oh, it's 1 o'clock today. Okay, great.
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
What,
right after JC and
yeah,
Joe's
what show is it?
Tony
Tony
Martinetti Nonprofit Radio.
Remind me. Oh, hey, from New Jersey.
Big
We have Saints Girl
nonprofit
78 from New Jersey.
Other 95%.
Awesome.
Mind if I hang out?
Do me a huge favor.
No, not at all.
Work here.
Yeah, sure.
Do me a huge favor at the end, my last segment, just wave and remind me to pimp your show. Because big fan of doing that. And somebody actually emailed me to help. They're like, can you give me a shout out? I have this like big thing, and I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then I remember going through the whole thing, the whole show last week, and remembering as I left, I'm like, you won't miss comments. Oh, well, I was talking. We're setting up. Well, how will I not miss comments? See, that's the thing. Periscope, still a little new, but I enjoy the interaction, and I really appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah. You got it.
You go for an hour, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah, he's an hour.
Yep, 11 to 12.
He is 11 to 12, then Joan and
With
JC
Chatterbox.
come in
Okay,
for
how do I do
12 to
Chatterbox?
1.
Is that part of Periscope?
Okay.
Yeah.
Please inform me how to not miss comments, because that would be really, really helpful. Do I have to maybe scroll up? No, I go scroll down, to double flip to tap. Okay, well, I will look up Chatterbox. Computers. All right. And username. Okay, Chatterbox. I will look that up right now here. Actually, that would be awesome. Welcome, C. Ferreira 10. So we go live in about 6 minutes. I definitely, when I say welcome to my Periscope peeps, hello. When I say that at 11 o'clock, if you guys can just chime in again so I see you, I would welcome to name you guys. If you don't, within that 10-second span, I can't say I won't name you online. But thank you for Chatterbox. I'm going to look that up right now. I'm looking at Chatterbox. It doesn't say anything. Chatterbox app? Let's see.
Maybe you need to look up Chatterbox for Periscope or something.
Yeah. Welcome, Brazil. Chatterbox for Periscope. Product hunt. Never miss a comment again with Chatterbox. All right, let's take a look here. I appreciate you guys helping me out. I really do.
That's your
Because,
5-minute warning.
oh boy.
It's a little loud, so you may not want to.
Hmm?
Yeah, you may not want to keep it right over your ears. 'Cause
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
loud.
Yeah. Studio Radio. Yes, we are in studio on 72nd Street and Columbus. It's talkingalternative.com. My show is Secrets of the Sire. We dish on comics, movies, TVs. Today we're going to be talking about working at Marvel and DC. I actually have worked at Wizard Magazine before, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Talking about what you prefer to do. Do you prefer to work on... Would you ever want to work for Marvel and DC, or would you rather have indie success? Yep, we are in a radio studio, Saints Girl 878, which is, again, why I apologize for missing some comments, but that's exactly what we're doing. So if you went to talkingalternative.com, you would be able to listen to the same broadcast that you're actually streaming live via Periscope. Yes, see, and we have a Marvel girl, and that's great. Studio Secret. No, it's called Secrets of the Sire. That is that's the name of the show. So if you go to talkingalternative.com and then click on Secrets of the Sire. Now.
Just go to talkingalternative.com, period.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then it's live streaming, right.
It's live
Okay,
streaming.
good. Sam, that's my engineer, who is running the show here. Please say something about Russia. It's colder than here. I will give to all my Periscope peeps that are here. I will give you an opportunity to kind of name yourself. You'll hear it in the context of the opening remarks and opening rants, and then from that point on, I'm actually going to be focused in on this microphone, and I'll be checking back and forth. We'll have our guest on in the second segment and the third segment. So appreciate you guys doing that. And I'm looking at Chatterbox for Periscope, so I would like to definitely check that out. And let me message my guest. Make sure that... Hey, Mike, if there are any issues getting on today, just message me. I've got my laptop handy. Thank you for all the likes. I really do appreciate that. Just getting my material ready. We got Mike Marts, former editor at both Marvel and DC, giving us a little inside look at what it's like to work there. Kind of the process of doing comics. And then in the second segment for him, I'm going to talk about his new company, AfterShock Comics. Yeah, I got so many more retweets. So I'm talking to Sam. Music. Yeah, you missed last week. We had Albert Hammond Jr. from The Strokes, not in studio, but it was a recorded interview. And the week before we had Chris Cornell as well too. So we will definitely do some music stuff. I'm going to get my editor from AM New York on, and we're going to do an all music episode down the line. Boom, Mike Marts is ready to go in 10 minutes.
All right, that's 1 minute to go. Ready to rock and roll?
Yep. Welcome. So when I say my Periscope Pete's, give a hello.
Going hot.
Good morning on this snowy, well, snowy on the East Coast anyway, edition of Secrets of the Sire. We are on talkingalternative.com. You can stream us live via the website. You can also jump on Periscope as well, found on @Michael, Michael _Dolce. I want to give a shout out to my Periscope peeps, so if any Periscope peeps want to be named, now is the time to say something, say hello. You can always live stream us. There's so many different ways to catch our show, and we are always excited to have people. I know Saints Girl something was before. Give a shout out to her. She was chatting with us previous. If you do jump onto Periscope, we usually start a good 10 minutes early, just to kind of get ourselves warmed up and make sure there's no technical difficulties. So we invite you to join us there. There's a live call-in hotline. It's 877-480-4120. And we, again, are broadcasting live, talkingalternative.com, every Friday at 11 a.m. So a little bit of snow, but that actually kind of pumped me up for today. We have an incredible guest today. He'll be jumping on a little bit later. His name is Mike Marts. He's a good friend of mine. He previously worked at, He previously worked at both Marvel and DC as executive editor. So he was the editor of the X-Men books. He was the executive editor of the Batman books. So he's going to come on and give us a little insight into, what it's like to work in the comic book industry, what it's like to be an editor at the Big Two, and then what it's like to take the leap and get into something completely brand new, which is his new company, AfterShock Comics, where he's one of the key figures there. So you can definitely check us out, again, talkingalternative.com, for all my Periscope peeps who are wondering. So anyway, talking about the comic book industry, and the big question I had in my blog today on secretsofthesire.com was, would you rather work for the Big Two, or would you rather start the next big thing indie-wise? And it's funny because when I first kind of asked the question, we have a poll going on my Twitter page right now, @Michael _Dolce, DOLCE. I kind of figured it'd be one-sided in a way, right? It's like, hey, indie comics, that's, I'd love to have my own creation. I'd love to, just be doing what I want to do. Like, who wouldn't want that? So I kind of tailored it, said, okay, you're not as successful doing your indie stuff as you are for your Marvel and DC stuff. So that means you are writing for Spider-Man, writing for DC Comics, writing Batman, or writing your favorite character. But he's not your character. He's a character you grew up loving. He's a character you grew up, just excited to read. Spider-Man was always my favorite. Although, again, big X-Men guy as well, too. We're talking the Chris Claremont, Jim Lee days, right around Extinction Agenda, 1989, 1993. I mean, those are just the glory years for the X-Men books. And we wanted to kind of tailor it a little bit so you're not as successful doing an indie book. We're talking, you're just consistent. You're Dave Sim. You're doing Cerebus for 20, 30 years. You're known as the Cerebus guy. Eric Larson, you're known as the Savage Dragon guy. Although, again, he kind of achieved success at Spider-Man, drawing Spider-Man as well. But, I mean, when you think of Eric Larson, you think Savage Dragon. So, again, which kind of route would you want to go? Would you want to do the indie success versus the, Big Two and working on someone else's creations? For me, I tell a story. It goes back to my Wizard days. Wizard magazine was a tremendous, popular magazine in the 90s and in the 2000s. I worked there from 2002 to 2006. Met some amazing people. I worked in both the creative department and the convention department, so I got a taste of both the creative and the professional. Got to go to conventions, got to meet some of my best friends to this day, actually, doing things through Wizard. And I'm actually forever grateful to Wizard because they helped promote my indie comic, The Sire, which, The Sire, what's that? It's very similar to the title of our show. How about that? So I got to kind of experience working in the industry, but also working on my own indie project. And I got to say, it was kind of, it was like living in a glass box. And what I mean by that was when I was working at Wizard, I got to interview some of the biggest industry talents out there. Got to be friends with a lot of them. Got to just kind of live in this comic book world. Every day I'd wake up, it was, a stack of books. I could, free reading. You used to get the Marvel books, DC, the Image books. It didn't matter. We had them. So I got to read, and that's part of my job. Got to report, and that was part of my job. I was the website editor for the main magazine for 2 years, and then I moved over to just doing the convention side of things, which started exploding. And at the end of the day, around 2005, I remember having a conversation at Wizard World, Texas, with someone who basically said, well, what do you want to be doing? And I said, well, I want to be making comics. And she kind of, I'm paraphrasing here, but so the main message was, well, this must be kind of painful for you then. And I said, yeah, because I'm watching and I'm talking to all these people doing what I want to be doing. My first foray into comics was a small little indie called Crossfire, which ended up becoming the Sire 6 years later. And it was through this conversation where she said, are you going to quit? Are you going to give up? And I said, no, I'm going to keep going. And I did. And the Sire met with some critical acclaim from 2006, 2008. The book is still, ongoing whenever I can get around to doing it. It's still one of my first loves. But that brought me to the topic today, which again, would you rather be writing for Spider-Man, or would you rather be consistently working on your own creation? And we got a lot of interesting things. First thing, we got a poll on my Twitter account. It's actually still going on, mainly because of my technical inequities here, and it's 9 hours left on the poll. That's okay, but we'll give you the up-to-date right now. It's 71% indie all the way, 29% Marvel DC career. And I thought, well, that's kind of obvious. Yeah, who wouldn't want to just be working on their own stuff? I would think it's almost 100%, right? But then I posed it on my Facebook page, and it's actually on my personal page, which I was talking to Sam, my engineer, and how I need to get these onto the actual Secrets of the Sire page so you guys can really, truly interact. But got some really interesting comments. The first comment we got from Ron Carroll was, wildly successful, go big or go home. And the general tone was, wildly successful allows you to go indie creator owned with Image or IDW or whoever. And it's really true, right? I mean, you basically get to do whatever you want when you become successful enough. If I'm writing Spider-Man and you know me as Brian Michael Bendis, then I, as Brian Michael Bendis, can go on and do my Jinx, and I can do my, my indie books, my Sam and Twitch at Image. We can do all those kind of stories, and I have free reign. And yeah, it's huge. However, the last I checked, Brian Michael Bendis really has only been writing Marvel books now. He hasn't really been branching out. I think he's been kept so busy, and that's the kind of wildly successful I'm talking about. I think there are definitely some creators out there that kind of do dabble in both worlds. I think Nick Spencer is actually a good example of somebody who started out at Image and made a name for himself in the indie world, and then made the jump to Marvel and DC. Dave Ryan actually commented, I've never had much desire to work for Marvel or DC, and I've had plenty of chances. I've always wanted to do my own books and always will, but I think all this is a very personal choice. Obviously, definitely a personal choice, and that's why we're kind of asking it. It's food for thought. It's food chatter for the brain. And Dave actually is an indie creator. He worked on War of the Independents, where the Sire was a part. That was a few years ago. It was a great experience to see all these indie creations out there. There's so many. Omar Morales does The Crusader. I did the colors on the book, but the book is completely him. And he, same thing. Seeing all these guys going out there and doing these indie creations is just fantastic. Hassan Godwin, working for someone else will never make you an independent anything. It's important to have experience and to learn respect and humility, but you should always focus the apex of your talents to your own visions. And therein really that's the crux of the question, right? That's really what I was trying to get to. What's your passion? For some, your passion is working, on someone else's creations. like truly working on someone's creations. Like, I actually wonder, if Brian Michael Bendis didn't love what he was doing, he wouldn't be doing it. He has that clout to go and do, go back to the indie world and put out his own books. I mean, he could do whatever he wants. Robert Kirkman obviously does. He had some stint at Marvel, but now Walking Dead is such a huge phenomenon, and his new project at Cinemax is going to be big. He chooses to do his own thing. So that's kind of what I was really asking, and that's kind of really what I'm really curious to hear from you guys about. Brian Michael on Facebook, it's a tough call, but probably the second option. Having a wildly successful career could put you on the map, and you could really make the networking and connections benefit you for life. However, the second option, you're still successful, you're creating and pushing something that is original and up and coming. Plus, who knows who you will inspire with a different work from the norm. David S. Rosenberg, a tremendous cartoonist also, independent and moderately successful. It's fine by me. Being able to work on my own terms is far more appealing than a big company structure. And that's actually a great point, because as an entrepreneur, I actually always have trouble saying that word, but I think I actually pulled that off pretty good. As an entrepreneur, it's always the mindset that they want to control their own time. I myself am an entrepreneur, and that's exactly why. I want to be able to dictate everything I want to do, and it leads to this fascinating life. Of course I'd love to work on a Marvel book. Of course I'd love to work on a DC book. More Marvel than DC. I'm a Marvel guy. So, but I also want to control my own time, and you know what? That's a good thing and a bad thing, because sometimes when I control my own time, I don't get things done. When I have the pressure of a deadline or the pressure of somebody else working over me, that's when things really come into focus. So, like I said, we're live on Periscope. I can give my Periscope peeps some love who are on here right now. If they want to chime in and say something, say hello. Well, we got some likes, but say something, comment, say hello. I know we have Russia, we have Brazil, we have Jersey. Okay, we have Bella Tadario 23112 saying hello. But again, we have different countries tuning in as well. And you guys are all tuning in at a great time, great moment. We have a fantastic guest coming up next. His name is Mike Marts. He was the executive editor at Marvel and executive editor at DC. He worked on the Batman books. He worked on the DC, he worked as executive editor for DC. Hello from Charlotte. And yes, I am near the crane. Periscope peeps, I love you. He worked at Marvel. He actually then jumped ship and went to a new comic book company called AfterShock Comics. So he's going to provide us with some insight, what it's like to work in the Marvel and DC world. I want to get into deep with the creative process, working with writers, working with artists, working with editors. That I can't wait to really dive into. And then what, made him want to take away the stability and kind of branch off into this new company that you never know. I mean, it could be the next Image, or it could be the next CrossGen for all we know, and that's the risk. So Mike Marts coming up next. Thank you all.
Okay, cool.
All right, so he's on the line. That's great.
He's on the line, yeah.
Hello. And again, to my Periscope peeps, if I don't give you any love, we are actually live right now broadcasting on TalkingAlternative.com. So I will be checking in every now and then. I will look up Chatterbox as well, so I can read some comments. I actually have my laptop out in front of me, so I do appreciate you guys jumping on here.
Hello, I'm Jason. I'm Joan, and welcome to 21st Century Entrepreneur. We bring education, insight, knowledge, awareness, craziness, and fun. So you, the entrepreneur, who's looking to build your business and your community. Listen every Friday from noon to 1 Eastern on talkradio.net. And you can tweet us at 21st CE Radio or Talk Alternative. Talking Alternative Radio.
Yes, hello, honey. Nice ass. My wife is also always tuning in, and that's good stuff. And how do we, he's just going to come on board?
Yeah. Well, when you introduce him, I'll bring up his volume.
Perfect. All right, we're going back live, Periscope people.
Going hot.
Welcome back. Secrets of the Sire Radio Hour, talking pop culture, music, movies, TV, and today especially comic books. And one of the cool things that I get to do is have on some great comic book related guests, even though they're all my friends because I've been working in the industry for a long time, and it's a cool thing. So I want to welcome my guest today. His name is Mike Marts. He was the executive editor of the X-Men books over at Marvel, the Batman books over at DC, and now he is currently, I guess, in the same role, executive editor or some higher, cooler position tag title on his business card at AfterShock Comics. Mike, how's it going?
Good, Mike. How are you? And hello to everybody.
Yeah, well, we are streaming across the country. We got Tokyo, we got France, we got the world. Sam's, the world. Sorry, Sam's like the world. He's like signaling me and dancing and saying the world. So yeah, and we're also streaming live on Periscope as well. So we got a full audience for you, Mike. So no pressure.
Excellent. Happy to be here talking to you.
Cool, man. All right, so first thing I want to get into is your background. Talk to me about how you got into this crazy business known as comics, and what led you to this path.
I started out a lot like most of us in the industry. I grew up just a diehard comic book fan. I was mostly a Marvel kid growing up. The one exception was Batman. So, what's funny is that, I guess a little serendipitous, is that, throughout my entire childhood, the two, I guess, characters of comics that were most important to me were the X-Men.
You nailed them both right there. Look at that.
After that, my collection grew, my interest in comics grew, and at the same time, I was always interested in telling stories. And, as I got into my teens, I realized that I might want to try my hand at writing. I made my goal to become the writer of the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I wanted to kick my hero Chris Claremont he did help for so long, but I just loved what he did, and to me, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I, started learning about writing and learning about writing comics, which was actually kind of difficult back then.
Mm-hmm.
Much information. And as I got into college, I kept at that and worked at a comic book store to try to get more knowledge. And
Wow, so you really hit the ground then. You really hit the ground then. I mean, like guerrilla learning techniques.
exactly, I just picked up any little tidbits I could here and there. Whether it was articles in Comics Journal or Comic Shop News or Comics Buyers Guide, whatever I could get, I would just absorb. As I got into college, I started studying journalism and editing. So, in addition to writing, I kind of had this whole other area related to writing that I became interested in. And at about this time, I was submitting story ideas to Marvel. I had this goal of submitting one story idea a week.
Mm-hmm.
And each week, I'd come up with a new story pitch for the Silver Surfer or Humans or Spider-Man or Captain America, and I would send it in. And then I would get these polite rejection letters saying, "Hey, thanks for your idea, but we already have a bunch of ideas, so try again." But I kept going. I was determined. I wanted to keep at it. And eventually, a friend of mine who worked in the comic book industry, Mark McKenna, who
We all know Mark. We love Mark. Yeah, yeah. Mark is fantastic.
he was actually a customer at my comic book store. And he said to me two things. He said, first of all, I can bring this story to Marvel and get you actual feedback from actual editors.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay, that's fantastic. And if you volunteered to do this, just out of kindness of his heart,
Mm-hmm.
he brought some of my story ideas up there, and a guy by the name of Fabian Nicieza, who
Yep.
everybody should know,
Talked to Fabian last week.
the editor,
Yeah.
Dave actually gave real feedback and critiques on one of my stories. And
I'm gonna interject for 2 seconds for all the listeners out there.
this was me connecting with real comic book professionals and getting actual feedback about something I had written.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
And so, that combined with the journalism that I was studying and the editing I was studying, kind of moved me to that next step. And that was the second thing that Martin kind of said to me. He said, there's internships up at Marvel Comics. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try out for one. And, I thought it was like trying out for the Yankees. And, maybe it was. I thought I would never, ever, ever get it. And then one day at the comic book store, the phone rang. It was Marvel Comics. They were asking when can I start.
Wow.
So I started an editorial internship there in 1993, which was in between my junior and senior year of college.
Okay.
And at the end of the summer, my first internship ended, and I somehow talked, pleaded, and begged my way into a second internship for the fall semester. And I remember at the time, the woman who was in charge of the interns, her name was Mary McFerrin.
Mm-hmm.
And she was also the assistant to Tom McAlco, the editor-in-chief at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, Tom was this big, intimidating presence. And she said to me, Tom doesn't like these two interns. Familiarity breeds contempt. And I was like, oh, man. But somehow my boss at the time, the editor by the name of Mel Yamkov, who really became my mentor, he pushed for me to get that second internship.
Mm-hmm.
And, as the saying goes, I never left. I actually started my assistant editor job there while I was still in college.
Mm-hmm.
In my senior year, which is a whole other radio. That's basically how I came into the business.
That's awesome. For all the listeners out there, Fabian Nicieza was also the writer of Deadpool. Deadpool is coming out, I believe it's this weekend, right? Or is it next weekend? It's next weekend. So we had a big talk on that as well too. So that's very cool. That you're one of your first earliest interactions with people in the comic book world is Fabian, who is a tremendous writer. So from there, you got the internships. Did you did time at Wizard too, or no? Am I off on that?
No, I did. I actually I've had a few different stints at various places in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
My first job was as an assistant editor at Marvel. I did that for about 3 years, and worked on like Iron Man, worked.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Connection's getting a little fuzzy now.
A whole bunch of
There we go.
titles. And then Marvel was going through some tough times, and they had some editorial layoffs, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw some friends get fired and let go. It was kind of a sad time for
What year?
everyone, but
What year is that? If you can give us a.
that would have been 1996.
That was after the crash. Then, yeah, that was after the crash, right? The big marketing. Oh yeah, that's the big crash that happened in comic books for anybody joining in. Comic books were hugely successful in the early '90s. We're talking Death of Superman. We're talking, the X-Men books were flying off the shelves. X-Force sold like 4 million copies. X-Men #1 sold like 5 million. Spider-Man #1, and then it was a speculator market, though. People invested in it, and all of a sudden, when they realized that they can't necessarily fund their kids' college education because supply and demand dictates that rarity creates value, not flooding the market. Speculators ran, and the comic book market itself took a big hit back then. So I just want to give some background to our listeners, so that kind of coincides with it. So continue.
Yeah, it was a very scary time, especially for someone young and in their 20s who's just starting off in this industry that the industry seemed like such a juggernaut before, and then suddenly it was so weak, and everything was changing in a matter of like a year. So I saw a bunch of friends and people I respected get laid off from Marvel, people that had worked there 10, 20 years, and to me, things were changing, and I had a few credits left of college to complete. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is a good time for me to go back and finish my degree. So I did that, and that only took a few months, and my desire was just to get back into the comic book industry.
Yeah.
And I interviewed at DC Comics for probably half a dozen assistant editor jobs with Dan Rashford, Dan Thorson, Mike Carlin, Casey Carlson, Stuart Moore,
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of people. And I eventually ended up interviewing in the publicity marketing department. And a great woman there, Patty Jarris, she thought I was a good candidate, but there was someone else in the house that she gave the job that I was interviewing for to.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, hey, I know this guy at Windsor, Jim McLaughlin, and he's looking to hire someone. She recommended me to Jim McLaughlin, and I went up there and interviewed, and I became the publicity and promotion manager.
Jim, what a character.
In hindsight, 20 years later, I can definitely look back and say, well, guess who wasn't good at promotions and Mike Marts. So, my stay at Wizard was pretty brief, and it was a great learning experience. It was a great time for me to network and make friends and make contacts. But my time there was pretty short, about 9 months, and coincidentally, unfortunately, Dating ECA had reached out to me about an editorial job at Claim Comics.
Okay, which was Valiant previously. Okay.
Yeah.
And from there, I know you also did stints. So I know you did Acclaim, and then you eventually got into Marvel. You started doing the X-Men books. We have about 3 minutes before we have to wrap up this segment, and about 2 minutes. So let me dive into your time at Marvel. What is the creative process like for those who have no idea how a comic book company works behind the scenes? In terms of working with the writer, how does it work? Does it come from the editorial meeting first, and then work into the writer, and then the writer produces a script? Like how does it get to the artist? Give us a brief minute recap of the process, if you can.
Every booking company works a little different, but for the most part, you're working with the writer to develop an ongoing storyline, something that would you could equate to a TV season. So you're working with that to develop issues and story beats and storylines and character arcs. From there, the writer generates a script, which is usually about 20 or 22 pages.
Mm-hmm.
That goes off to the artist. The artist will then spend time penciling the book, and then after that, there's the tail end stages of production with coloring and lettering and design and everything like that.
Very cool. All right, we are going to go to break. When we come back, though, I want to know all about AfterShock Comics, starting with the question, what made you leave a secure job at Marvel to want to start something new? So thank you to all listening. We'll be back right after this. Can he hear me still, or is he?
No.
Okay.
It's off. Keep in mind that your Periscope peeps aren't probably hearing him, or if they're hearing him very softly.
Oh, I got you.
I can't keep this.
I got to plug that thing into that, right? Is that what we got to do?
For them
Okay.
to hear someone on the
It's
phone.
on my list.
So, but tell your Periscope peeps, go to talkradio.nyc
Yes.
and they can hear. They can get the audio from talkradio.nyc. The other thing to keep in mind is that when Mike is talking, if you're trying to interject something, he's not going to hear you. So you got to catch him like right in between a breath.
Yeah, I know.
Or like right as he's starting to take a breath, because there's a slight delay.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of get in there
Yeah.
right before he starts to say more, because while he's talking, he's not hearing.
Okay. Hey, Delrar, that's Daryl. What's up, Daryl? Okay.
Going hot.
We are back. We have executive editor Mike Marts, worked at Marvel and DC for a number of years, and has now jumped over to AfterShock Comics. A real quick note to all the Periscope peeps, go to talkingalternative.com to listen to Mike as we are live streaming this. So, Mike, we ended the last segment with the question, what makes someone jump from the security of a Marvel or DC to want to jump into something new? And you've done just that in the past year, helping to kind of found, at least creatively and editorially, AfterShock Comics. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that decision and what's going on with AfterShock?
Well, the decision to jump to AfterShock, it was one which just felt like the right thing to do at the time. For me, I felt lucky that I was able to contribute to the stories of Marvel and DC for so long. But for me, I'm never satisfied if I don't have a challenge in front of me, if I don't have some element of risk in front of me. So there's been this burning desire of mine to start something of my own, to start a company, to form something, to build something for such a long time. And my partners at AfterShock came along at the right time and talked to me about their dreams and their visions for building this company. It was very much in line with my own personal thoughts about building a company that I've had for so long. And they just seemed like the perfect guys to get into business with. So for me, I wouldn't say it was a no-brainer decision, but it was certainly a very easy decision for me, one that felt great.
And what's the mission statement for AfterShock? By the way, actually, AfterShock Comics, that's a terrific name for a comic book company, and I definitely think that's one that will go a long way. There's a funny story about that, actually, is the fact that the Sire, my creator-owned book, was published through After Hours Press, and After Hours Press had a little indie superhero label, which was AfterShock Comics. So when Mike actually was in the process of starting this company with his partners, they actually reached out to me because it turned out that my name was all over AfterShock Comics, of all things. So Mike messaged me on Facebook, are you AfterShock Comics still? And I was like, oh, wow. So...
Yeah, that was a funny discovery for us. And, what's funny is that the name of the company came about right before I signed on board. And, who knows what the company would have been named if it had been named later.
So...
That was funny.
Yeah, no, that was a very destiny of coming together. But yeah, give us what AfterShock is all about. Are you guys trying to be the next Image? Are you guys doing something totally different?
No, we're looking to be the first AfterShock. We are a creator-owned company at this point in time, so everything that we do, we have relationships with creators to help bring their best visions to fruition and to see it on the printed page. And for listeners who maybe don't know what that means, is, a book that's released by Marvel or DC is 100% owned by Marvel and DC.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the creator-owned thing, there's a relationship between the publisher and the creator, where the creator, retains, if not all rights, then most of the rights to the character and property, so that, in the case that something does become the next Walking Dead,
Mm-hmm.
the creator has control of the thing that they created, which is great, a great way for artists and writers to thrive. At AfterShock, we are concerned about quality. We want nothing but the best stories. The story has to be unique. It's got to be something that hasn't been done before. It has to be captivating. It has to be something that we would want to read ourselves. So the story comes first. And the quality of the creators is something which is extremely important to us as well. If you look at our lineup right now, we've got a great mix of established, veteran professionals who are still at the top of their game, with a mix of new talent whose stock is rising daily. Brian Ezra, Mark Wade, Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, the list goes on. So we've got a great arsenal of people who have decided to bring this project to us, and we're really honored that they chose to do that.
Well, that's interesting you said that too. That was my next question. How are you guys actively seeking these creators? Are you seeing their projects somewhere? I mean, obviously these are household names: Brian Azzarello, Amanda Connor. I mean, these are in the comic book industry. Everyone knows who these guys are. So, are you guys the ones kind of reaching out to them, or are they kind of like reaching out to you? How's the process of getting that book to fruition? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great. Give us a quick rundown, 30 seconds, the books you have coming and where they're going to be available. Okay. Mm-hmm. Great. It's good. Good price point to jump on new readers there. Um, quick. So, quick question is: you'd mentioned this before when we were kind of talking about your background. Your initial idea was to write. Do you, as an editor, now you're known as an editor. Is there any kind of inclination to say, I still want to write my own comics, or are you kind of nestled into that position where you like to work with the other creators and bring their creation to fruition? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. We're going to go into some quick hits. I want to get your opinion on some issues that we've either talked about on the show or that are going on. The diversity issue in entertainment today. What is your feedback, or what is your take on the Oscars so white and the Oscars thing that's going on with diversity? Mm-hmm. Very nice. Deadpool movie. My take on it last week, which ruffled a few feathers with some fans, was that it's actually going to flop. I think it's going to flop, and I don't want it to. I love the character. I just think it's so niche, and it's so like cult, that the cult is what's going to actually cause it to not to not really break out. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, but what do you think? What do you think about the Deadpool movie? Yeah. I'm rooting for Ryan Reynolds. I got to interview him for Blade Trinity about 10 years ago, and the man is genuinely great, and I'm really, really hoping that I am wrong. I would like to see this be his big comic book breakout. Comic book movies, Superman, Batman. What do you think? What's your thoughts on that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's funny. Sam, my engineer, shook his head in agreement as soon as you said Ben Affleck is Batman, because he had wondered the same. He had actually asked me that last week, and I actually said, he's rejuvenated his reputation, where I think fans can actually say, you know what, I'm going to give him a shot as Batman. Whereas if this was 10 years ago, Daredevil esque or Geely esque era, we would all be throwing things at whatever movie screens, TV, whatever it comes down to. So I want to thank you for coming on first. I do appreciate it. We actually go back to our playing football days, the Wizard Marvel football. We have to get that going again, although we're all a lot older now, and we hurt. We hurt a lot more. I actually was just walking up the stairs to the studio after playing basketball last night and wondering why I keep doing that. For anybody who's interested in AfterShock Comics, go to aftershock.world. Check out all their great books. Again, you can get it in comic book stores or on Comixology. Mike, we have a minute left. Give me one more repeat rundown of where what books are out there and where folks can get it. Mike Marts, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll have to do this again sometime soon, because this has been a lot of fun, and it's great to reach a global audience, as my engineer Sam makes sure that I drill that in everyone's head, that we are being listened to across the world. So, Mike, thank you so much, and when we return, I'm going to get some more feedback, some more comments on that, and my Periscope peeps can start chiming in as well, too. Secrets of the Sire. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be good if you get images from him for the covers of all the books and post it on the Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. I'll do that right now.
Yeah. Since it's so visual, you may as well, this way give people more reason to go to the Facebook page. Yeah, because you got Mexico, you got Korea, you got Japan, you had Poland on before. This is international, dude.
Yeah, international. See, that's the word I want to. I keep going global.
International. hot.
Welcome back, Secrets of the Sire. I want to thank my guest once again, Mike Marts. I want to thank all my Periscope peeps. Olesinya from Russia. Hello, Russia. We have some folks on from Brazil. We have my wife from New York as well. She's a loyal fan, which is great. Mike touched on some interesting things too, and Mike actually had called me up for an interview a long time ago. I was working at Wizard Magazine, and he said, hey, we have this potential assistant editor job, and I had just gotten promoted to web editor. And it's funny, he mentioned the fact that, he started wanting to write comics and ended up becoming an editor instead. And I remember that racing through my head. I don't want to be an editor, because if I'm an editor, then I'm only an editor, and people always know me as an editor and not a writer. And I ended up turning that down originally. And I said, and to this day I always wonder, I don't regret, because I love all the creations I've done since then. But I do kind of always wonder, I wonder if I'd have just taken that interview and, maybe I would have ended up with a job at Marvel. And there's guys like Dan Slott, Joe Quesada, although I guess Quesada was more of an artist, but he's actually doing the reverse route to get in there. But, I wonder, I always wonder what would have been. It'd be interesting. Maybe I would be a seasoned vet, and I wouldn't be hosting the show, which I actually love doing. So, getting back to the comments, though. Mitch Hyman, I'm happy being a fierce indie. Besides, the only major I respect is Marvel, and only because of Joe Quesada. But this is from knowing him since his days as an inker back in the 90s for Double Impact, which now is basically the company Bubba comes out through, which is Creature Entertainment. But Joe Q has always been a straight shooter and a very cool guy. Joe Quesada is a real interesting case, right? I mean, Joe Quesada broke in as an inker, as an artist. He's an amazing artist. He ended up doing the Marvel Knights line with Daredevil. I brought Kevin Smith into the fold, and I remember those years, sales-wise, he was the best-selling, his books, and these are second-tier books, according to Marvel, Daredevil, Punisher, the Marvel Knights line, were doing just as good, if not better, than some of their flagship titles like X-Men and Spider-Man, and he was brought on to be editor-in-chief, and now he has been the face creatively of Marvel since then. So it's funny. There's so many different routes into the comic book industry. There's so many different jobs in the comic book industry, and that actually segues perfectly into a quick little preview of next week. We have editor Pat Shand. He's an editor and a writer over at Zenescope Entertainment. Zenescope is one of the indie comic book companies out there. I've also contributed some work to them as well too, and we're going to have him on, and we're going to talk about the different jobs and how you can kind of go about getting these kind of jobs. Pat actually also chimed in on this topic. Originally, he had written, if I can bring it up, I mean, not to be the guy who ignores the question, but I think that it's in this backwards market, the way you can establish the sort of staying power that allows a long-running indie book is to first be wildly successful at Marvel or DC. It's true. Anybody who gets a job at Marvel or DC and makes a name for themselves there has a much better chance of then kind of doing whatever they want to do. But the spirit of the question really was, would you rather kind of own it yourself, or would you work on someone else's creations and be successful there? And for myself, like I said, I think there was a little glass box when I worked at Wizard. There was, I did some work at Image, and Image, that's a great environment where you kind of get to do what you want to do. I had my scripts edited, but never for content, just for typos. My pages, I worked with Jim Valentino. My pages were colored by myself, and then I would send it in to him for approval. And really, it was any kind of suggestion from him at the time was just, how do you make this better, not anything creatively wise. So there's that. We have Heidi Ward. This is something that can only vary greatly from person to person. It depends on what makes them feel successful. Some people want that recognition that comes with being connected to the biggest names, and they want the dough. Some people want the creative control and to know it's completely their vision being put out for the world to see. Couldn't agree more. I would definitely want both. Not so much the dough, but the recognition. I think that there's. I talked to my wife about this too, because we do a lot of comic book conventions. She, by the way, came to like one or two. And then she was kind of like, okay, you're working. She thought it was cool at first, and she loves all that stuff. She loves the anime. She loves the manga. She loves, all that stuff. She walked around. I think it was Baltimore was her first convention. And she walked around. She checked it out. And she said, okay, cool. What else is there? I said, oh, this is it. And I'm behind a table for the next 8 hours doing sketches and selling books and networking and trying to get my name out there. She also realized, too, that all the bar hopping afterwards was also networking, just meeting other creators and trying to do stuff. So she's like, cool. So my slate of comic book conventions, she is more than happy to sit those out and let me just kind of do my thing. But the one observation that she made, and I also made too, there is fame and then there's comic book fame, and comic book fame is actually the coolest thing in the world. Because you get to walk out after the show is over, the show is done. You're a big deal. You're a semi-big deal, or you're just trying to break in. There's this rush of adrenaline, of excitement, of tiredness, of exhaustion, and then you kind of go back to your normal 9 to 5 or your normal just life in general when it's all over, and that's kind of a cool thing about comic book fame. You get to be famous for very small pockets of time, and you get to live your life unlike, say, a famous actor or a famous musician or whatever the case is, where you don't get to do it. We have Rusik Ermek just joined. Again, we have people from Russia. We are international. Sam, the engineer, wanted me to make sure I express to everyone out there we are being listened to on TalkingAlternative.com. Our show is every Friday from 11 to 12. Again, people used to dread Friday. Friday was always the worst day of the week. Now it's their favorite time because they get to listen to my show. We also have Tony Martinetti's nonprofit radio coming up at 1, and that's following 21st Century Entrepreneur, J.C. Maldonado. So always want to give props out to our fellow Talking Alternative hosts, TalkingAlternative.com. Alexa Fox chimed in, the former, meaning I would rather do indie, but I would use their money. Oh, sorry. So I guess the former is the first choice. The former is Marvel or DC. I'd use their money to fund the latter myself. Isn't that how everyone is doing it these days? Dave Ryan says, not really. These days, a lot of creators are doing a book at Image, and then Marvel has been scooping them up, hoping that their audience that they've created follows them to a Marvel title. That's definitely a good point, and we're definitely going to see that. We see that in everything now. We see that in radio. We see that in reality TV shows. We basically, the internet has changed things so much to the point where it's expected that you end up with some sort of following before you even make it to the big boys. So that's a good point by Dave Ryan. I appreciate coming in there. Tyrone Randall says, inner happiness and peace should be the measure. And wherever it gets you there is exactly it. Delroar chimed in on Periscope. Which comic book movie are we looking forward to the most? And he is definitely curious, based on our last week's topic, to know. There's a couple that are coming out this year. Deadpool, obviously, coming out next week. Mike Marts thinks it's going to be huge. Guardians of the Galaxy type huge, which, again, I welcome, except for the fact of being wrong. I don't like being wrong, but we'll definitely chime in on that next week, because we'll have numbers by the time we're on air next week, and we'll see what Pat Shand has to say about this as well too. He's an editor and a writer over at Zenescope. We have Superman Batman coming out in a couple weeks. We're going to have a really great show wrapped around that. I'm going to try to get some really great guests to kind of chime in and see what they think about that movie coming out. I personally am actually really looking forward to it. I know Zack Snyder is the king of the movie trailer. At least that's the way I feel about him. I think his movie trailers are outstanding. They always seem to entice. They create a mood. The movie might not always deliver. I thought Man of Steel was good. I thought Watchmen was okay. I thought 300 was amazing, and I think he'll always kind of be remembered for that. But I'm looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of cool things. Mike Marts actually touched upon that too, where he was a little nervous about that. And to his point, I'm a little nervous. I don't know why they felt the need to show what everything is going to be all at once. Why would you release Doomsday in the end of that trailer? That doesn't make sense to me. You don't need to give that away. People know Superman. People know Batman. That's enough to get me in the seat. Now I know Doomsday's coming, and I know Lex Luthor's coming, and he's the force bringing it. I guess the how and the why is what the marketing people were kind of thinking. So that's kind of what we're doing there. So I want to thank everyone again. I want to thank my guest Mike Marts from AfterShock Comics. AfterShock.world is the website. I've never seen a .world tagline. That's pretty cool. I don't own AfterShockComics.com or AfterShock.com. So Mike had touched upon that funny thing that AfterShock was actually the original imprint that published my book years before they ended up forming the company. So that made for an awkward yet hilarious conversation because we don't sue. Myself and Darren Sanchez, who was the publisher of After Hours Press, we kind of had a laugh about that because we're all old buddies. So I want to thank Mike for joining on. I want to thank all my Periscope peeps. We've had some good flurry of users jump on and actually stream us live. I'm going to make sure I hook you guys up to the next week's broadcast. So tune in next week, Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TalkingAlternative.com. We're going to talk about the indie comic book industry, and we're going to talk about jobs that you can get. So I welcome you guys. Podcast will be available on iTunes on Monday. Secrets of the Sire.
All
All right.
right, cool.
Sorry,
How you guys doing?
you, but then I buzzed because I didn't.
Thanks, Daryl.
I know it took a. I didn't see
So
it.
sorry.
but I-
Hello.
it's okay.
Hello.
I'm tweeting.
We're going to say goodbye to all my
Oh, hi.
Periscope peeps.
Sorry, I forgot you were periscoping.